Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh and good day. My name is Muhammad Shakillah bin Razali and today I'm going to present the lab report on the impact of jets which under the topic finite control volume analysis. So these are the content that I will present today. There will be some introduction, objectives and methodology, results and discussion, and finally conclusion. Let's move on to the introduction part, which will talk about theory impact of the jet. First, we talk about the force exerted, where the moving fluid exert force on the object that contact with it. Second, we talk about momentum equation, which summation of force that exerted is equal to summation of rate of momentum in minus summation of rate of momentum out. And for the application, engineers use the momentum equation to calculate the force exerted on any object. Next, we look at objectives and methodology. As we can see, the objective of the lab report is to investigate the reaction force that is produced when change of momentum occurs when fluid strikes a flat place or curved surface. As for the hypothesis, the forces will be exerted according to the direction of x, y, and z axis, which will be different according to each angle of jet deflection. And for methodology, the momentum force is determined by measuring the forces produced by a jet of water exerted on solid flat and curved surface which deflect the jet at different angle. Moving on, the lab experiment is set up as the picture shown here, which consists of wake pan, spring, level gauge, nurse screw, inlet pipe, target plate, nozzle, and finally adjustable feet. Okay, so for the procedures of the lab experiment, firstly, with no weight on the pan, adjust the head of the gauge level until aligned with the term line. Secondly, we place a mass of 50 grams on the weight pan and turn on the pump. Third, we open the bench valve slowly, allow the water to impinge upon the target until the datum line on the weight pan is level with the gauge. Fourth, we measure the flow rate using volumetric tank. The flow rate is then established by collection of water over a time interval. Fifth, we repeat the step by reducing the flow rates. About 8 readings should be sufficient for this experiment. And finally, the entire test should be done twice since we are using two different plates, which is flat plate and hemispherical cup. So next we look at the results and discussion. From the experiment done, we collect the data and then we put it inside a table, and the table looks like this, which tell about the forces exerted on the two different surface, which is flat plate and also the hemispherical cup. And from the data, we plot a graph, and the graph looks like this. As we can see from the graph, the gradient for the hemispherical cup is much higher than the flat plate. So when the flow rate is increased, as we can see from this table, when the flow rate is increased, the force exerted will also increase. And the plotted graph shows that how the increment for both deflection surface, although we use two different surfaces. And we can see that the hemispherical cup give higher gradient for the forces exerted. So finally, for the conclusions, first we look at the increment. As we can see, when the flow rate increase, the force exerted on the surface will also increase. For the different surfaces, in this experiment, we use two different surfaces, which is flat plate and also hemispherical cup. As we can see, although we use two different type of surface, they give the same outcome, which is the force exerted both give the increment. And for the error can occur while taking the reading, and this is called as parallax error. And to conclude the whole experiment, we can say that hemispherical cup is much more much more efficient than flat plate. So that's all for me. Thank you.